Lights on.
Yeah, we need the green light.
There it goes. Okay, it's working. I can hear myself.
You can. Okay.
I usually don't need a mic, but for recording purposes, I guess I need one. Good evening, fellow partners, graduates, friends, family, and other honored guests. My name is Raphael Rivas, and I am a participant in the 2013 Partners in Policy program. My testimony tonight is geared towards the New York City Department of Education, the New York State Education Department, the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, the Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, and other interested parties. The issue I am addressing today is the need for transition programs for students with disabilities, or youth with disabilities. Too many youth exit the Department of Ed with no plan in place. They just exit out without a diploma, or they get pushed out at the age of 21 and they have no place to go. They often don't even know that they have a disability. They often don't know what an IEP means. They're also unaware of the agencies that provide services for adults with disabilities. Many students have fallen through the cracks because state agencies have a long wait process and they wind up missing appointments because they're not sure when they are, or they don't understand what the agency does and what the appointment is for. So I'm going to talk about other programs that have been in place that have been for other people, catered to youth with disabilities, but not for youth with disabilities themselves. The State Education Department has special education parent centers which serve parents. They also have RSC-TAS, which is the Regional Special Education Technical Assistance Support Center, which has transition specialists, bilingual specialists. They have behavior specialists, all professionals to work with professionals in schools. Neither of those programs are for the students directly. They are indirectly for the students because they're either for parents and or professionals. There used to be model transition programs that were for 3 years that were in schools for the students, but they were cut after a year and a half. The Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, they have all these family support services, Medicaid service coordination, day rehabilitation programs, residential programs, different day programs, all that you can access through a nice little front door if you hope somebody opens it on the other end. Again, you have all of these programs, but they're none specifically for the students themselves. They are indirectly for the students because they are either for parents, caregivers, families to get it for the student, but they're not specifically for the student. The New York City Department of Education needs to improve transition services for people with disabilities. I have to give credit to District 75 though. A lot of their schools do transition fairs, they do different career fairs, they do very good with transition planning. However, I cannot say the same for the community school districts. I cannot say the same for the community high schools. They often don't do transition fairs, they don't necessarily link students to services like Access VR, which used to be vested, OPWDD, or any other appropriate state agency. They don't necessarily do trips to orientations to agencies, whereas District 75 is more hands-on when it comes to that. A simple solution would be to take students to an Access VR orientation as they have them for student orientations, or take them to agencies and programs that they would wind up going to so that they can get a better understanding of those programs and services. And this could be done by different school trips where they can get permission slips from the parents. The Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, they do a great job of funding this Partners in Policy Making program, which allow us to come speak tonight on different issues such as this one. One thing I will suggest is to listen to the issues brought here tonight, including this one, and then go back in your meetings in Albany and try to find ways to implement these ideas, programs, or services. Because transition programs for youth with disabilities are few and far between, they're not really funded, and they are well needed. The best agency that did this years ago was Access VR when it was vested. From 1999 to 2010, through 11 independent living centers over time, they funded youth and transition programs where independent living centers conducted youth and transition programs for youth with disabilities to help them successfully transition out of high school. Those programs were from 16 to 21. I professionally work at the Brooklyn Center for Independence of the Disabled, and I used to run one of those programs. They started with 3 in 1999, they added 4 more in 2001, and another 4 in 2005 to make 11. Now I currently work in one of the Parent Center programs. But I must preface this statement is my own views as a partner in policy making. I would like to include by saying that students with disabilities have a right to make their own choices and their own paths. No paths should be made for them. They shouldn't be told to go this way because of their disability. They should be given the choice to go that way because of their interests. This would go a long way towards person-centered planning. They shouldn't just be tossed in a residential program, a day program, or a training program without them fully understanding what it is. So, and allowing students to make these choices would also go a shift from the micro paradigm to the macro paradigm, where it's not all just individuals with disabilities where they become included. Because there's a saying, nothing about us without us, and students with disabilities have a right to be included and do the same things as people without disabilities. I'd like to thank you all for allowing me to testify before you at this meeting.